Yes, so 15 minutes before the call, but should I play more after everybody joined?
It's actually, Kirtan is before the call.
Yes, so I start the call 15 minutes before
That's
we
good.
start. Yes.
Except the volume was blasting loud.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Check
Hare
some.
Krishna. Yes, Maharaj. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I would like to welcome you all for joining today's class online session with His Holiness Chandramauli Maharaj. A warm welcome to you all. My humble obeisances to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for joining. Hare Krishna Maharaj, my humble obeisances to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Haribo, glories Prabhupada.
Just give me a moment.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Swasanta Rupe Sitara Swarupaya Abhyardhyamesha Anukampitatmam Pare Varesho Maha Amsa Yukto Yajo Pijato Bhagavan Yatagni. Translation. This is Uddhava speaking. The personality of Godhead, the all-compassionate controller of both the spiritual and material creation, is unborn. When there is friction between his peaceful devotees and persons who are in the material modes of nature, he takes birth just like fire, accompanied by the Mahatattva. Purport. The devotees of the Lord are by nature peaceful. Why? Because they have no material hankerings. A liberated soul has no hankerings, and therefore he has no lamentation. One who wants to possess also laments when he loses his possessions. Devotees have no hankerings for material possessions and no hankerings for spiritual salvation. They are situated in the transcendental loving service of the Lord as a matter of duty, and they do not mind when, where they are, and how they have to act. Karmis, Gyanis, and Yogis all hanker to possess some material or spiritual assets. Karmis want material possessions. Gyanis and Yogis want spiritual possessions. Devotees don't want anything or material assets, material or spiritual assets. What do devotees want? They only want to serve the Lord anywhere and in any material and spiritual worlds that the Lord desires. And the Lord is always specifically compassionate towards such devotees. The karmis, the gyanis, the yogis have a particular mentality in the modes of nature, and they are called itara or non-devotees. These itaras, including even the yogis, sometimes harass the devotees of the Lord. Durvasa Muni, a great yogi, harassed Maharaj Amarish because the latter was a great devotee of the Lord. And the great karmi and gyani, Hiranyakashipu, even harassed his own Vaishnav son, Prahlad Maharaj. There are many instances of such harassment of the peaceful devotees of the Lord by the Itaras. Such friction takes place, when such friction takes place, the Lord, out of his great compassion towards the devotees, appears in persons, accompanied by his plenary portions controlling the Mahatattva. The Lord is everywhere in both the material and spiritual domains, and he appears for the sake of his devotees when there is friction between the devotee and the non-devotee. As electricity is generated by friction of matter anywhere and everywhere, the Lord, being all pervading, appears because of the friction of the devotees and the non-devotees. When the Lord appears on a mission, all his plenary portions accompany him. And when he appears as the son of Vasudeva, there were differences of opinion about his incarnation. Some say he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Some say he's an incarnation of Narayan. And others say he's an incarnation of Kshirodakshayi Vishnu. But actually, he is the original personality of Godhead, supreme. Krishna is too Bhagavan Swayam, and Narayan and the Purushas and all other incarnations accompany him to function as different parts in his pastimes. Maha-Amsa Yukta indicates that he is accompanied by the Purushas who create the Mahatanva. It is confirmed in the Vedic hymns Mahatan Vidum Atmanam. Lord Krishna appeared just like electricity when there was friction between Kamsa, Vasudeva, and Ugrasena. Vasudeva and Ugrasena were the Lord's devotee, and Kamsa, a representative of the Karmis and Gyanis, was a non-devotee. Krishna, as he is compared to the sun. He first appeared from the ocean of the womb of Devaki, and gradually he satisfied the inhabitants of the places surrounding Mathura, such as the sun enlivens the lotus flower in the morning. After gradually rising to the meridian of Dwarka, the Lord set like the sun, placing everything in darkness, as described by Uddhava. Magyan timidandasya ganajana salakaya chaksu unmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave namaha ma om Vishnu padaya Krishna prastaya bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavari Pastyatya De Satarine Vanchakalpatarubhischa Vipa Sindhu Peevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakti Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So there are basically four types of living beings. Four types of human living beings, which are the karmis, materialists, whose only desire is to exploit the material energy for sense gratification and to derive some kind of pleasure from that type of exploitation. In other words, they're only interested in the external material elements. And so they try to control the material energy so they can enjoy their senses, their mind, or even their intelligence. They're selfish and they don't know the goal of life. The Gyanis understand that material life is miserable and they want out of material life, but they do not do anything more than that. They just distance themselves from all material activities as best they can and worship the unmanifested Brahman effulgence of the Lord. And by doing penances and austerities and studying Vedas and doing yajnas. After some time, even if they achieve their goal, they come back to the material world as karmis because Gyanis, their destination is temporary. The yogis, they hanker after controlling the material energy to get some power. They're very enthusiastic to develop mystic power to control the material energy in different ways. And a lot of times they want to make a show of it just to impress others or to impress themselves or to manipulate the energy so they can get some material benefit from that manipulation. So all of these three categories, they all have material attachments, material desires. But the last is the devotees, the bhakti yogis. All they want to do is serve. They're not interested in gaining anything material or even salvation, spiritual salvation. They're happy and they're engaged in devotional service. They're peaceful. Why? The karmis, the gyanis, and the yogis can never be peaceful because as long as one has personal desires, they can never be peaceful because they're always trying to fulfill those desires. And material desires are not always possible to get satisfaction and fulfillment. Therefore, they're never peaceful. Their minds are always hankering, they're always making plans to enjoy, making plans to control the material energy in different ways. Trying to, anyway. But devotees are simple. They just want to serve. They want to glorify the Lord by chanting. They want to speak about the Lord, read books about the Lord, and discuss the Lord's activities. And they want to serve the Lord in whatever way they can, usually under the guidance of the spiritual master. And they're happy. And they don't interfere with anybody else's process. Of course, we speak about what is the value of spiritual life, what is the miseries that come by way of material life. But otherwise, we are simply satisfied by doing our service, whatever the service is his. Narayana para sarve, yakustyasam na vidyati, swapa apavargasya, tu yarte darshanam. This verse is from the fourth canto, spoken by Lord Shiva, when Chitraketu was cursed by Parvati to go to hell because she felt that he offended Lord Shiva. Of course, Lord Shiva was not offended, but that's how she perceived it. And then she cursed him to take birth in hell. He just paid his obeisances to Mother Parvati, would fold his hands and said, "Thank you, and I will be going on to my next destination." And so, of course, he became a demon. That was the story of Vitrasura. It's a wonderful story in the sixth canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. How Vitrasura, in the form of a demon, actually attained the spiritual world. Because although he was a demon, he had the consciousness of a devotee. He acted like a demon because that was his situation. But at the same time, he was thinking always of the lotus feet of the Lord. And then when he was killed, he actually voluntarily wanted to be killed so he could free himself from that demoniac body and ultimately attain the spiritual realm. And so he wasn't at all disturbed when Parvati sent him to hell. He was thinking, oh, I can serve the Lord in that way also. So devotees think like that. Sometimes we want to serve in a certain way, and that's acceptable. That's nice. Sometimes we have a certain inclination to serve in a certain way, and that's very nice. And one should aspire for that also. But still, if one gets a chance to serve, they don't consider, oh, this is not my nature. I would rather serve in the other way. And then they neglect that service. No, they're always happy to do whatever service they are required to do as a duty to the spiritual master and to Krishna ultimately. Devotees are simple. Non-devotees, because they're always agitated, they're envious of the devotees. And therefore, sometimes they cause trouble with the devotees. And we have examples here. It was mentioned Durvasa Muni. Well, Durvasa Muni was a great Muni. He was a yogi. He was powerful. He was an Anga of Lord Shiva. But he was envious of Ambarish Maharaj because Ambarish Maharaj was a great devotee and he was a king at the same time. So he wanted to test him, and he apparently found some fault in Maharaj Ambarish, which was not a fault, but he considered it a fault. And then he tried to kill him. And then Krishna protected by throwing his Sudashan chakra at Durvasa Muni, and Durvasa, he had the power to fly, and so he fled from the chakra, but the chakra was chasing him everywhere. And he went first to Lord Brahma, then to Lord Shiva, and he was looking for shelter, but none of them could give him shelter. They all said, "This is Vishnu's chakra. You have to go to Vishnu." So he did, and then he took shelter of Vishnu, and Vishnu restrains his thing. But then Vishnu told him, you're an offender. My devotees are more dear to me than I am to myself. So anyone who offends my devotees are actually offending me also. So the Lord made it clear, and of course, somehow Durvasa was spared from the chakra, but he apologized seriously to Ambarish Maharaj, and everything worked out in the end nicely. But then you have others who harass devotees too, like Kamsa was harassing his own sister, Devaki, because he had heard an omen that the seventh or eighth child of Devaki would be the cause of his death. And he was fearful at all the time. And therefore, when the children were born, he was killing the children one after another. But Krishna arranged for the seventh child, which was Balaram, to be taken to Vrindavan, and the eighth child, which was him, to get out of the cell of Kamsa and go to Vrindavan also. So Krishna protected his devotees. Konti apati jani hiname bhakti pranashiti. I always give protection to my devotees, even if they commit some wrong activities. Still, because they are engaged in devotional service, they are very dear to me. So that's Krishna. Prahlad Maharaj was a pure devotee, even at a young age of 5. He was so concerned about his own father, he kept preaching to his father that, you're not happy because you're always harassing everyone and you're never happy yourself. he said, you're making friends and enemies, but as far as I'm concerned, nobody's a friend, nobody's an enemy, because for a devotee, they see everyone equally as a part and parcel of Krishna, and they try to serve the devotees, and they try to serve the Lord. So they're fixed. But Prahlad was harassed by his father so many ways. There was no way anyone who was a normal person would have been survived the harassment by Hiranyakashipu. But Prahlad took full shelter in consciousness of the Lord, and he was absorbed in thinking of the Lord all the time. And then nothing could disturb him. Sometimes we think, well, that's only for great devotees, but no, that's actually not true. That's even today, when devotees are thinking about the Lord, they're completely free from all dangers of this material world, no matter how dangerous it may be. I was just thinking today, I was riding in the airplane coming from Calcutta to Pune, and towards the end, the plane was shaking like crazy. I was thinking, okay, here we go. But then I was remembering one of my godbrothers. No, it wasn't my godbrother. Actually, it was George Harrison, the famous Beatle. He was on the plane and he was coming into New York. But just when they were arriving into the area of New York, a huge thunderstorm happened. And it was lightning, rain, and the plane was being blown around by the wind. And people were, were, you might say, freaking out. And he was just chanting Hare Krishna. And then, of course, the pilot somehow got control of the plane and landed it. So that happened to another devotee also. When he was on the plane, he chanted Hare Krishna, and the pilot got hold of the control of the plane and brought everything to a peaceful landing. That's because when the devotees chant Hare Krishna, they purify the whole atmosphere. And therefore, nothing, no danger can harm the devotee, or even people who are around the devotee. Even if they don't chant, still, if they're in association with devotees, they also get some benefit from that. So, therefore, it says here, when the Lord sees his devotee being exceedingly harassed, just like Lord Rama was praying to Lord Krishna to come and finish this demon, Hiranyakashipu. And the Lord said, I know everything about Hiranyakashipu, and right now he's not harassing his pure devotee son, but when he does, then I'll jump into action. Put it very simple. And so he waited, and then when Prahlad was harassed, then the Lord came. The Lord always protects his devotees in all situations. It's guaranteed, but we have to be serious in our practice of devotional service. We can't be what they call it. Well, when things are going nice, we forget about the Lord. When things are going not so nice, then we remember the Lord. No. The devotee always remembers the Lord, always wants to take shelter of the Lord, always wants to chant the holy names of the Lord, always wants to share the knowledge of the Lord to others. That's a devotee. They're always thinking about others, and they're always absorbed in Krishna consciousness, either through service or through glorification of the Lord in different ways. So the devotees have no hankerings because they can always engage in service wherever they are. Sometimes we think, well, I have no service. No, you can always chant. Chanting is also service. You can always read the scriptures, such as Bhagavad Gita, Nectar Devotion, Srimad Bhagavatam, and others. That's devotional service also. You can always clean the area you're living in, straighten it out, make it look nice, clean things, get the dust that's hanging above the doorways. There's always service to do. So we can always find engagement. And that constant engagement will keep you in the spiritual atmosphere, because devotional service is not part of this material world. It's above the material energy, and it's free from any of the effects of the material energy, both good and bad. It has its own nature. It makes the devotee peaceful, and it's many times the devotee feels great happiness just engaging in devotional service. So therefore, and the Lord is always with the devotee all the time. He never leaves the devotee. We leave Krishna, but he never leaves us. But we can only be aware of his presence when we think of him and when we serve him. When we're thinking of other things and trying to manipulate the material energy for our own happiness, then Krishna is still there, but he's there in the form of helping us get away from the wrong mentality by giving us some difficulty. Correction or punishment is also a form of correction. Sometimes devotees are subject to punishment, but that's for their own correction. It's not about punishment because they are acting in the material energy. No, this punishment because somehow or other they may have deviated or may have acted wrongly in devotional service, and therefore some correction comes in a very mild way, but in a very direct way at the same time, to let the devotee know that this is not where you want to be, this is not where you want to develop your consciousness. Keep your consciousness on Krishna and devotional service. So that's our satisfaction, that's our happiness. As Prabhupada said, it's very easy, but you have to be serious. If you're not serious, and then it won't manifest. Serious means that we understand that this human form of life is meant for developing our relationship with the Lord. And that relationship is not a part-time thing. It must be carried out every minute of the day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 plus one for the leap year, 366 days a year. So no break. Devotees don't want to break in devotional service because they don't want, there's nothing in the material world that attracts them. They don't want anything. And they don't, even if they lose something, they still go on with their devotional service. They're happy in all situations. Because they can remember Krishna anywhere, at any time, in any situation. Okay, can stop there.
Thank you, Maharaj. Um, so, dear devotees, we'll go for the question and answers. You can ask your questions by raising your hands, or you can put your question in the chat window and I can read it on your behalf if you're not able to do so. Also, a humble request, if you can turn on your cameras to make the session more interactive, personal, lively, that would be helpful. Thank you.
That's, from my side, that's a very important part of the program. So push that button, unless you're taking a bath and it's morning time, so don't do it. But otherwise, push the button. We're getting there. We're up to 15. We still have at least 13 more to go. 15 up, 13 down. Come on, there you go. She did it. Rasa Vilas, Radha, Amrita Nam, you can do it. You do it all the time. Raghu, I know you're busy. Today's Monday, but Shiv Kumara, Srijana, Abhishek, Anjali, Anya, and Anya Bhatia. Oh, we're getting there. Okay. Almost got a full screen. 4 more to make a full screen. And that'll make 25, and then there's 3 scragglers somewhere else. I don't know where they are. Okay, there. It's so nice to see all the devotees, really. And if you smile, it's even nicer. Even if you don't feel like it, try it. See what happens. Sukaba has back to give us her transcendental happy mood. She's been running away, running her all over India. Now she's back. Okay, so questions.
Okay. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you for the encouragement. Thank you, dear devotees, for turning on your cameras. Okay, so Sridevi Mataji, please go ahead.
Thank you, Dinanath Prabhu. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, as you were relating that pastime of how the holy name protects not just the devotee but everyone else, I was recalling a particular episode. I was on a japa jog in New Orleans, and I was along the bayou I was going, and one lady was walking towards me. It was early morning, and she was a little elderly lady, and she misstepped. I mean, she put her foot in the wrong place and she was almost falling, and I was very close to her and I was chanting pretty loudly. A miraculous thing happened. It was as though someone had straightened her up and she got back her balance. She immediately noticed it, She said, I was almost falling, but I got saved because you were praying for me. She
Yeah, well,
noted that.
that's
And I was
an
thinking, this is the holy name.
yeah. Even any of those who are in the area hear the sound of the holy name, they are also protected. Yeah.
I cannot forget that. It was just marvelous to see how she was almost falling, and it was also a hand was straightening her up and preventing her from falling. Literally, it was like that.
Well, there's so many examples, but it happens all the time. You're walking along and you're chanting and you bang your foot on a bedstead or some chair or something, and you don't feel any pain. You think, wow, I'm glad I chanted. Otherwise, the pain would have been too much. It's a fact, yeah. Prabhupada says chanting relieves pain. That's the title of one of his. Of course, we don't chant for that purpose. That's just a side thing that happens. But just to show how the efficacy of the holy name spreads it out in all areas. So when you're connected with Krishna, you're on the spiritual platform. Therefore, the material energy doesn't affect you. Or if the effect is there, it's very little, if any.
Yes, yes, Guru Maharaj. I've also personally experienced. I used to cook every Wednesday in the kitchen there in New Taliban, and times without number, some hot oil has, sort of fallen on me or something hot in the kitchen, and I have not felt it because I was chanting. I was chanting like crazy all the time when I was in that kitchen because Krishna knows I can't cook anything, but still I had this cooking service. So I was always chanting when I was in the kitchen, and I got saved like that.
You used to tell me all the time you can't cook. And I didn't believe you, but then actually I found out you actually are telling the truth. I thought you were just being humble, but actually it's a fact. But
I was telling the truth. I am telling the truth, Guru Maharaj.
thank you for being so honest. Okay, Ananda Sagar Jagannath Das from Farmington Hills. This must be about 7 o'clock in the morning there now, right?
Hare Krishna Maharaj Dandar Pranam. It's 7:30 Maharaj here.
There they okay. Yeah. Okay. Question.
Maharaj, I don't have any question, right?
You have your hand up.
Oh, sorry, Maharaj. Maybe by mistake, Maharaj.
Nothing happens by accident. Okay, thank you.
Hey,
Anyway,
thank
Thank you,
you.
Maharaj.
Maharaj, I had a question. In the purport, Prabhupada says that when Krishna appears, all his plenary amshas and incarnations also accompany him. So that is clear. But what happens if a plenary incarnation appears? Does the other plenary portions also appears or accompany?
all of the manifestations of the incarnations have a particular mission. That's why they appear. And so in order to carry out the mission, they may appear with others or they may appear with less or more. So yeah, everything is done according to the purpose of the appearance. So yeah, we can rightfully say yeah, but you can't really figure it out. Like Shirodakshaya Vishnu, it says all of the incarnations that come into the world come through the feature of Kshirodakshay Vishnu. What does that mean? That he's the gateway for those incarnations to manifest in the material world. So he is one of the three Vishnus, and he is the aggregate of this. He is actually the super soul, or the aggregate of the super soul. So different manifestations of the absolute truth have different services, and they appear at different times for different purposes. Just like in the state, you have the president, and you have the Congress, and then you have the cabinet members, and then you have their different agencies that work under them. So you have a very complicated and very graduated echelon of different people working at different services. Same way in the spiritual world. Actually, it comes from the spiritual world like that. Manifests here in the material world because we adopt the same procedure in order, because whatever's done in the spiritual sense is the ideal.
Thank you, Maharaj. That's clear. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Shiva Kumar Prabhu, you can go ahead.
Thank you. Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavata Pranams Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So Maharaj, one question I had from today's class, Maharaj, that you were talking about the conflicts between non-devotees and devotees, or the kind of issues or troubles that the non-devotees make for devotees. But on the contrary, Maharaj, I was actually thinking of after we take up to bhakti and kind of gradually increase our association with the devotees, and our interaction and our time with the non-devotees gradually come down, we kind of increase our association interaction with the devotees. When the shift happens, Maharaj, as we kind of go through this experience of some issues and conflicts, differences of opinion within the devotees. And I was just thinking about it, Maharaj, for past couple of days on some of the instances that I personally went through. And it seems that as we kind of get along and interact, increase the time that we spend with the devotees, gradually increase it, it seems at a point where there is this familiarity breeds contempt that creeps in somehow. So I just wanted to hear your instructions and guidance, Maharaj, as to how we can check that tendency and kind of pay respect as how we would have started on the day one, and we don't take it for granted the relationship, Maharaj. Some words around it.
That means familiarity breeds contempt. We're in the wrong mood then in that association. It's like in any particular type of sangha of people, according to their own goal in life or their occupation, they focus on that. When lawyers come together, they all talk about law and their own personal cases. When doctors come, they discuss medical terminology. When devotees come together, what do? We talk about Krishna, or we find ways to serve the other persons that we're associating. Because the mood of bhakti is the mood of service, and the mood of service is meant to be carried out in all aspects of our life. So we're always thinking how to serve in this situation. And then these negative feelings of contempt or familiarity, even if they appear, they'll disappear just as fast, because the devotee is thinking how to serve.
Okay.
And there's always ways to serve in the association of other devotees. We have the 6 loving exchanges that are mentioned in the Nectar of Instructions as ways to interact with other devotees. These are fundamental And these are from Shastra, from Rupa Goswami directly, how to associate with devotees based on these 6 loving exchanges. To reveal one's mind in confidence and to hear one's confidential thoughts. And that may be talking about Krishna or glorifying the holy name. We're talking about something related to Krishna consciousness. The second is to give gifts. I know devotees that like to give gifts to others all the time. And they go out of their way to do some gift giving. And to receive gifts, to give gifts is an exchange of love between devotees. The third is to give prasadam and receive prasadam. And that we can do regularly. People like to serve, people like to take prasadam. There's no difference. When Prabhupada was asked, what's better, to serve prasadam or to take prasadam, Prabhupada said they're equal. Why? Because the medium of exchange is prasadam, or Krishna in the form of prasadam. Therefore, one is receiving Krishna, one is giving Krishna. The medium is on the transcendental platform. So, yeah. So practice these 6 loving exchanges. It's recommended. I would encourage devotees to read that verse. It's the 4th verse in the Nectar of Instructions. And Prabhupada makes a very sweeping statement in the very beginning of the purport. We said, we have established this Krishna consciousness society in order to facilitate these 6 loving exchanges. So he's saying that's the purpose, to bring devotees together. And how do we bring the devotees together? By these 6 loving exchanges. So the mood of service is there in all of those 6 exchanges. If we're accepting service, you're also serving by accepting service. If you're giving service, just like I'm speaking something and you're listening, and but if your eagerness to listen and learn is service. It's not just passive, it's actually service.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for the instructive insights. I'll kind of try and follow it now. Thank you.
Yeah, I would recommend devotees read that verse, number 4, from Nectar of Instructions. Of course, read the whole treatise, the 11 verses, but that one is the process of bhakti.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Sadhuvi Mataji, you can go ahead.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much for today. I have learned about the every time Lord Krishna says, every time when there is a irreligion, I will come. May I ask if it was only Lord Chaitanya, but then afterwards it's only Kala is going to come, or is it possible that there will be again incarnation? Because there is so much irreligion today in Iran. I don't dare name anything about religion or spirituality because of what they are going through. So that it is irreligion because they don't want to hear anything about it. So may I ask if it's possible that there will be another incarnation? Thank you.
Yeah, well, Prabhupada answered that. He said it's already here. Kali Kale Nama Rupa Krishna Avatar Nama Vaiteha Visarva Jagat Nistaram. That Krishna has manifested himself in the form of the holy name. It's an incarnation of Krishna in sound vibration. It's personally present. So that incarnation is here. Take advantage of it by chanting and distributing it to others. That's Lord Chaitanya brought that incarnation not only as a means for protecting the devotees, but at the same time for elevating the devotees to pure devotional service. So the holy name is actually, it's an incarnation. Kali Kale Namarupa Krishna avatar. Kali, in this age of Kali, Kali Kale, in the age of Kali, Namrup, the form of the name Krishna avatar. Krishna has advented in his holy name in this age. You don't have to wait for anything else to happen. It's right here.
May I ask a follow-up question, please?
Of course, yeah. But I'm not sure you got that one. You
Yes,
didn't-
I understand the name of Krishna, and Christian, to listen to Christian is the same way, the same thing to feel the Krishna here and so on. But
I'm not sure
I
you,
wonder-
you actually believe it, or are you just agreeing with me?
if I didn't believe it, I will not chant 16 rounds minimum every day before my day is started. I believe, I do it. I believe it.
And that's why I'm wondering why you asked the question, because the question.
No, but what I meant was, I know that the name of Krishna is the same as Krishna, but what I mean, because he says he will come, I understand that he's by his name he's here, but I meant so that people can see and worship him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? For the people in Iran, for instance, they don't want to even hear what I'm talking about. They don't
Yeah.
because they think all whatever happened to them is because of their religion. You know what I mean?
You can believe the Lord is here, or you can forget about him. They don't want to believe it, so therefore, that's their choice. Therefore, they have to suffer. But Krishna appeared just before the advent of Kali Yuga, and his form as Krishna of Vrindavan, and he was here for 125 years. When he left, that was the beginning of Kali Yuga. And then 4,000 years into Kali Yuga, Lord Chaitanya came. So 2 incarnations came within the period of 5,000 years.
Thank you.
Yeah. And if things get really bad, then the Lord may also decide to manifest in another form also. That's up to him, but incarnations are usually scheduled according to the different time phases within the world. It's like Kalki will come at the end of Kali Yuga and simply kill all the demons. He's going to ask no questions. He's just going to be killing the demons wholesale. Because at that time, religious principles will probably be lost. Lord Chaitanya's movement will be gone at that time. Because Lord Chaitanya's movement only lasts 10,000 years. So you're in the middle of that right now. So far, we're about 530, almost 540 years. Yeah, 540 years into Lord Chaitanya's movement. So for the next, 4,440 years, it'll continue to expand. But you'll see calamities in the world. Why? Because there are demons in the world. And because there are demons in the world, there's always calamities. But these things will gradually be destroyed in due course of time, because irreligion cannot last. There's an old saying, time and truth go hand in hand. Wherever there's truth, in due course of time, it'll manifest. But everything works according to time. And people have a choice. Therefore, it's our duty as devotees to spread this movement. That's our duty. That's what Prabhupada, Lord Chaitanya is asking us to do. Make this movement available to everyone and anyone. There are devotees in Iran also We're practicing Krishna consciousness.
I know about that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Amritanam Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, my humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. So Guru Maharaj, the other day I saw a dead body which was claimed by their relatives, which was not claimed by anybody. So some NGO came and they were doing the final rites of final rituals of the body. So I was just thinking, is it all right that somebody else do final rituals of somebody,
I don't
or
understand.
this is not according to the Shastra?
You're talking about something material now?
Yes, a dead body which was not claimed by anybody. Nobody knows who to whom that dead body belongs to. So one of the NGO came and they collected the dead body and they were doing the final rituals of that dead body
So what's
because
wrong
it
with
was not claimed.
so what's wrong with that?
No, so I was just asking that is it all right? Is it according to the Shastra that anybody can do the final rituals of a body?
I'm just wondering why you're interested in dead bodies.
Because because there is an importance of it after death rituals, right? Gurmaj, in our Shastra.
Well, there's three ways that the body goes at the time of death. It's either buried, or it's burnt, or it's eaten by animals. So the body becomes either ashes, earth, or stool after death. So doing some spiritual ritual will help that soul get a better destination. It has to be spiritual, not just some materialistic ritual. But these are moot points. Devotees don't think about these things.
I was just wondering this because even it is written in the Shastra that even Ramachandra did their last rituals, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did their last rituals. So I was just wondering if it is that important.
Well, they were devotees and everything was in line with the principles. If you talk about an unclaimed dead body, what can you talk about?
Mm.
There's nothing to
Oh,
talk.
okay, very much. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, realizations you would like to share?
Let's get back to live bodies now. I'm sure there's some live bodies out there that still going.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Coming to see you tomorrow, Guru Maharaj. Meeting you tomorrow.
Okay, don't bring any dead bodies with you.
Definitely not.
Okay. You guys have any questions? No.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Where are we? Where are we?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. This
Sriji
is
Mataji has a question. Mataji, please go ahead.
Who?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Please accept my obeisances. All to Prabhupada.
Sriji, how do you go?
Hare Krishna.
Amazing.
Just just wanted to share something interesting from yesterday's class and one question. So I'll share something interesting. You were mentioning about Big Bang Theory yesterday, and recently we were doing Sanskrit pronunciation class here at School of Bhakti, and in that we were explaining that there is a research by some Russians regarding low frequency sound, and they found out that sound is ha uma, which is om for us, aum om, which is, we know that it is the Lord, his energy, and the living entity. So even Big Bang theory, we as devotees can explain in a better way that there is sound vibration going on. So that is something I wanted to share. And Maharaj, my question is, you were mentioning about that, devotional service is every activity you do throughout the day. It can be cleaning, it can be chanting, it can be reading. So how do we, because sometimes when you are at home, the atmosphere is different, that laziness and that distraction kick in your service. So how do we deal with that distraction or laziness?
Just don't do it. Don't be lazy and don't get distracted. I don't know what else to say. Well, we get familiar with our environment, and then we also start using our environment. But we should see a home, everything belongs to Krishna. Whatever I have, my family members, they're parts and parcel of Krishna. The paraphernalia I use to live my life is also part of the material energy, which is ultimately coming from Krishna. So seeing Krishna in everything and seeing how you can use things in Krishna's service keeps our consciousness from falling into the mundane or the routine. Everything, when you understand the absolute truth, you understand that there's nothing outside of Krishna, but it's manifested in different ways. When you trace everything, whatever it is, back to its source, it comes to Krishna all the time. Everything. So yeah, that tracing out is actually our vision to see things in relationship to the source. And as best as we can do, we can use these things in the service of the Lord. Yeah. But household life means, you got to do your mundane things to maintain the house. So while you're doing your mundane things of maintaining the house, chant. Or listen to a lecture. That's what I do. When sometimes I have to pack to go somewhere, I'll just, packing is not my favorite activity. So I just play some kirtan while I'm packing. Or
I think Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Mataji. The question. Hopefully Maharaj is back. Hopefully. Yes, Mataji. Sarmishta Mataji, when Maharaj is back, I will relay that question. Thank you.
Krishna, should I call devotees in Guru Maharaj's room who are present there?
Yes, if you know who is there.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj is trying to connect. So he asked to wait for
Okay.
5 minutes. Hare
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Very well.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Sorry about that. We have some internet problems on this side here.
Okay. So, Maharaj, we have a question in the chat from Sarmishta Mataji. So the question is, Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, is chanting while listening to lecture or listening per se won't be an offense to the holy name?
No, you should concentrate. If you're going to chant, concentrate on the holy name. It's called japa meditation. You have to hear the sound vibration of the holy name. You shouldn't be doing anything else. It's a meditation. It's a prayer. It's not just something you put into your life in a background amongst anything else. No. Because if you don't give Krishna attention, he's not there. You may be chanting, but you're not getting anything from the chanting because he's not there, because you're not paying attention to him. Just making lip service doesn't mean that you're chanting. Chanting and hearing goes together, cannot be separated. Chant and hear. And the more the hearing becomes complete, the more the meditation deepens, and the more the meditation deepens, the more the symptoms of happiness and ecstasy manifest while you're chanting the holy name.
Thank you, Maharaj. Any other questions, comments, dear devotees?
Okay, maybe I think we reached the end.
Okay, Maharaj. Thank you. With your permission, we'll conclude the class.
Okay, thank you.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada